Quieting the storm. How to overcome intrusive thoughts and strengthen your relationship. Romantic relationships are a source of immense joy, connection, and fulfillment, but they can also bring about a set of challenges, including the rise of intrusive thoughts. These are unwanted and distressing thoughts that invade your mind seemingly out of nowhere, often creating anxiety, confusion, and self-doubt. It's not uncommon to find yourself wondering if your partner is being truthful, whether they truly love you, or what might happen in the future. While these thoughts may feel real in the moment, they're often fueled by anxiety, insecurities, or past experiences. If not properly managed, intrusive thoughts can chip away at your relationship's foundation, fostering mistrust and distance. But here's the good news. You don't have to let these thoughts control your relationship. By understanding them and learning how to manage them effectively, you can transform anxiety into emotional growth and a deeper connection with your partner. Here's a deeper dive into how to navigate intrusive thoughts in romantic relationships, reclaiming your peace of mind and strengthening your bond. 1. Understanding intrusive thoughts. A closer look at their nature. Intrusive thoughts are a common part of the human experience. They often arise unexpectedly, and they can be particularly distressing in the context of a relationship. These thoughts are usually irrational, intense, and often disturbing, with fears such as, what if my partner doesn't truly love me? Or what if they're hiding something from me? But what exactly are intrusive thoughts, and why do they arise? At their core, these thoughts are mental disturbances, your mind generating unwanted images, worries, or scenarios. They're not reflective of your reality, but rather your brain's way of processing anxiety or insecurity. Sometimes they reflect deeper-rooted fears like abandonment, betrayal, or inadequacy, which could stem from past trauma, childhood experiences, or unresolved personal issues. Recognizing intrusive thoughts for what they are, a temporary mental event rather than an absolute truth, is the first step toward addressing them. This realization helps reduce their power, allowing you to distance yourself from the emotional reaction they provoke. 2. Reframing negative thought patterns, a powerful tool to overcome anxiety. Once you understand that intrusive thoughts are not reflections of reality, the next step is to challenge them. Reframing negative thought patterns is an essential skill when it comes to managing anxiety in relationships. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of self-doubt, especially when you're feeling vulnerable or insecure. However, allowing yourself to ruminate on these thoughts can make them feel more real than they actually are. Start by questioning the validity of these thoughts. Is there evidence to support this thought? Am I interpreting a neutral situation negatively? What would I say to a friend who shared this worry? For instance, if you start to worry that your partner is cheating, ask yourself, what evidence do I have for this fear? Has my partner shown any behaviors that suggest infidelity? Often, these worries are based on past experiences or unaddressed fears rather than any real signs in the current relationship. By learning to reframe these thoughts, you actively shift from anxiety-driven thinking to a more logical, evidence-based mindset. This can break the cycle of rumination and reduce the emotional intensity of intrusive thoughts. 3. Communication as a bridge to understanding, connecting through vulnerability. Open communication is one of the most powerful tools for addressing intrusive thoughts in a relationship. Often, when these thoughts emerge, there's a tendency to internalize them, building anxiety and distance. However, talking openly with your partner can create a sense of reassurance and mutual understanding. The key to productive communication is vulnerability. Expressing your concerns and fears without blame can help your partner understand your emotional state and offer the support you need. Here are some examples of how you can communicate these thoughts. I've been feeling a bit insecure lately, and sometimes my mind races with worries about our relationship. I want to share these thoughts with you so we can talk about them together. I know it's irrational, but sometimes I fear that I'm not good enough for you. Can we talk about that? These types of conversations invite your partner into your inner world without making them feel accused or blamed. They open the door for mutual support and help you both address the root causes of the anxiety rather than just the symptoms. In many cases, you may find that your partner shares similar fears or anxieties. Understanding that both of you are human and vulnerable can actually deepen your bond, creating a sense of intimacy and trust. 4. Setting boundaries with your thoughts, practicing thought diffusion. It's important to recognize that while intrusive thoughts are a normal part of being human, they don't need to dominate your mental space. One effective strategy for dealing with them is thought diffusion, a concept from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. This technique involves creating distance between you and the thought, viewing it as something separate from your true self. For example, if an intrusive thought about your partner arises, rather than becoming emotionally entangled in it, you might say to yourself, "That's just a thought, not a fact." By labeling it as a thought, not an undeniable truth, you acknowledge its presence without allowing it to control your emotions. This strategy can be incredibly effective in preventing the snowball effect that often happens when we give too much weight to negative thoughts. Instead of overanalyzing or reacting to them, allow the thought to pass through your mind like a cloud, knowing it doesn't define your reality or relationship. In addition to thought diffusion, mindfulness practices can also be incredibly helpful. Activities such as deep breathing, grounding exercises, and meditation can help you stay present, reducing the power of intrusive thoughts and increasing your emotional regulation. 5. Cultivating self-compassion. Responding with kindness, not judgment. Self-compassion is an essential tool for dealing with intrusive thoughts. Often we judge ourselves harshly when these thoughts emerge, thinking that they make us weak or irrational. However, these judgments only intensify our emotional distress. Instead, practice speaking to yourself with kindness and understanding. When you experience an intrusive thought, instead of criticizing yourself for having it, offer yourself reassurance. For example, it's okay to feel anxious sometimes. These thoughts don't define me or my relationship. I am doing my best, and it's normal to have doubts. It doesn't mean I'm not capable of love or trust. By responding with empathy, you create a safe space within yourself to acknowledge your feelings without shame. Self-compassion not only reduces the emotional intensity of intrusive thoughts, but also helps foster a healthier relationship with yourself, which in turn enhances your connection with others. 6. Seeking professional support. When to ask for help. If intrusive thoughts are becoming overwhelming or persistently affecting your emotional well-being, seeking professional support can be a helpful step. A therapist, especially one trained in cognitive behavioral therapy CBT or acceptance and commitment therapy ACT, can help you identify negative thought patterns and teach you strategies to manage them effectively. Therapy can also be beneficial in addressing the underlying fears or insecurities that drive these thoughts. For example, if past trauma or attachment issues are contributing to your anxieties in relationships, a therapist can help you work through these issues, promoting healing and growth. It's important to remember that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Mental health professionals can offer invaluable support, helping you build healthier coping mechanisms and develop a more secure and trusting relationship with both yourself and your partner. 7. Embrace imperfection, cultivating acceptance in relationships. Finally, it's essential to embrace the imperfections that come with both you and your partner. Relationships aren't about having all the answers or eliminating all doubts. They are about learning to navigate those moments of uncertainty together with trust, communication, and mutual respect. When you accept that your partner is not perfect and that you too have vulnerabilities, it becomes easier to manage intrusive thoughts without letting them dictate your emotional state. Relationships thrive on empathy, forgiveness, and mutual understanding, qualities that are essential in weathering life's challenges, including those brought on by intrusive thoughts. Conclusion: turning intrusive thoughts into opportunities for growth. Intrusive thoughts are a natural part of human existence, but they don't have to take control of your romantic relationship. By understanding their nature, reframing negative thought patterns, communicating openly with your partner, and practicing self-compassion, you can manage these thoughts without letting them dictate your emotional reality. Remember, it's okay to have doubts and insecurities. What's important is how you respond to them. With the right tools and mindset, you can navigate intrusive thoughts and emerge stronger, more connected, and more peaceful in your relationship.